Hello, gentlemen. This is for those of you who have seen videos of mine before, kind of along the same lines. This is teaching time for us. If you've never seen one of these videos, then I strongly encourage you to pay close attention. This is kind of the mental aspect of the game that we don't necessarily get to go through in great detail during practice because we're trying to go at a fast pace and get reps and get used to tempo and condition ourselves. So I want to give you this information now so that you can kind of digest it, hopefully either affirm your understanding of our offense, or if you lack understanding or maybe misunderstand our offense, then you can develop the correct understanding of what we're trying to do and why we're trying to do it. So this is kind of a basic fundamental approach to our offensive system and how we do different things, what everything means, so that you can understand it. So we're going to start with the basics. Okay, our basic play is 36-37. 36 to the right, 37 to the left. So you can safely assume that we're going to teach everything from the right-handed side, and you can assume that everything is the same on the back side. Of course, you're looking at this and you're like, wait, what's going on back here on the back side with the green thing? This is just something that we're toying with right now as we continue to evolve our offense based on the personnel that we have and look at things that could be successful in continuing to adapt and over the years. This is something that we're thinking about. It's not in stone just yet, but we will teach it as if it is what we're going to be implementing. So let's focus the majority of our attention on the front side. First thing you need to understand, in my opinion, from an offensive player is what defense are we going against? So if you take a close look at this, you're going to see 3 down linemen and you're going to see 3 linebackers here in the box, and you're going to see 2 outside linebackers, you're going to see 2 corners, and you're going to see a free safety. Yes, this is our defense. This is what you would call a 3-stack or an odd stack or a 3-3-5 or a 3-5-3. It really makes no difference. For simplicity's sake, we will call it an odd stack or a 3-stack, mainly because you have linebackers stacked behind defensive linemen in 3 different spots. Okay, those of you who play both ways, you kind of understand what's going on. We are going to talk about what we're trying to accomplish offensively because we are an option-based offense, and we do things a little bit differently than your service academies like Navy or Air Force or Army, or even a Georgia Tech, who is a true flex bone triple option. With the double wings and stuff like that. We have similar properties to those offenses, but we are a spread offense, and we also have some properties of what spread offenses do as well. So we're going to teach this in terms of what we do, but the understanding is basically the same. Okay, so here's what we have: 36. We have changed it over the years to the offensive linemen are going to step left, and what we're doing is basically blocking opposite the play. And we are going to read the front side. So we're going to read on the right and block to the left and kind of go from there. So here's the deal. 36 tailback, you're taking a midline path. You're running right up the right butt cheek of the center, and you are reading the nose for direction. If the nose fights across this way and you have a cutback lane to backside A-gap, you're going to take it. If we get this successful double team block and push in this way, then you're going to stay on path, potentially cut off of the guard's block, and here's your running seam right here. It's anywhere between the A-gaps, backside A to frontside A, if you get the ball. You'll see 1 and 2. 1 is the dive key, 2 is the pitch key, or in other words, our book key. The guy that who is this guy responsible for? Generally dive or quarterback. This guy is generally responsible for quarterback or pitch, or he's what we call a force defender, meaning he's responsible for contain and anything that goes to the flat. So we're going to make our decisions based off of these 2 guys, basically. Okay, quarterback, you are reading number 1 for dive or pitch. You basically have 2 choices. I'm going to give the ball to the running back if this guy does anything but tackle our running back. All right, you give the ball. If he stands there, you give the ball. If he stays square-shouldered and shuffles down the line, we give the ball. If he comes upfield, we give the ball. If he tries to mesh charge, we give the ball, and then we try to see how he's going to respond to that. If he's able to successfully mesh charge or not, then we can have some things to deal with that. If He comes down and tackles the running back. You disconnect. In other words, you pull and you go to the next option. It is not, as you have learned, especially younger guys over the years, it is not just because I pull, I throw the book. That is not what we do. After I have decided that I'm going to pull, I continue running this way. Then I need to get my eyes to number 2, which in this case would be the next guy who shows. Generally, it's the outside linebacker. Okay? If the outside linebacker begins to attack me, then I throw the book. If the outside linebacker runs with the book right away, then I should cut upfield and I become the runner. I basically replace where that guy was. Okay? I wouldn't think about cutting all the way back just yet because all the other defenders are over there. I would simply say replace. Replace that guy. He disappears, I'm going to replace his path, and maybe I have the physical ability to get big yards and or score a touchdown. That's the read. Read number 1 for give or pull. Read number 2 for keep or throw the book. It's not automatic. Once I pull, I throw it out here. Okay? So hopefully that gives you at least a base understanding of what we're looking at. Now I know what you're saying, but wait, coach, we have motion that generally accompanies this play. Yes, of course we do. And hopefully this gives you a better idea of why that is. Okay? So right now, we talk about numbers, so we always want to have a numbers advantage. And if we don't have a numbers advantage, we want to be able to run some sort of option to be able to get a numbers advantage. Here's what we mean by numbers. So if you take this entire play and cut it in half, whoops, cut the field in half, and we are running a play to the right, then here's what we have on offense. 1, 2, 3, 4. Add the quarterback and the running back. 5, 6. Add the center, and a half. Or actually, I mean, he's blocking this way. So really, this is 7. Okay? 7 people over here on this side. If you include all 3 phases of the option. Okay? What do we have on the other side? Or I'm sorry, on the defense. 1. Well, let's call him a half. Let's call the center a half. So we got 6.5. 6.5. 6.5. Good? Great. Defensively, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5, 5, 5.5. If I'm cutting these guys down the middle, does that make sense? So, I'm not a math guy or anything, sarcasm, but our 6.5 should beat their 5.5 every time. This is why, if everyone executes correctly, this play should go for big yards every time. Because number 1, the defense can never be right. If the defensive end takes the dive, we still have a one-man advantage with the quarterback 2-on-1 against this guy. If he forces us to give, well, we're blocking, and now he's not going to make the tackle. So we have 1, 2, 3.5 against 1, 2, 2.5, 3. So we still have a half a man advantage in the box if the running back gets the ball. So running back gets the ball, should be big yards. Quarterback has to keep and decide off of this guy whether or not he's going to throw the book. We still have an advantage. This play should be good every single time if it is executed properly. That's why we do what we do, because we have a numbers advantage no matter what the defense does. Okay, so now let's back it up and show you what would happen if we put a guy in motion and bring an extra player, whoops, sorry about that, bring an extra player into the mix. So now we're going to tag the Z with a zig motion. Okay. We're going to zig him. We're going to run him on book, which we do every day. Typically, what happens is linebackers and or safeties are going to plus over. The defensive line is not going to adjust. So let's anticipate that happening. This guy's going to widen a little bit probably. This guy's going to widen a little bit. This guy's going to widen a little bit. This guy's going to slide over, and you're probably going to get the safety to move a little bit. Okay, so now let's start our count all over again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.5. And I'm up to 7.5. Yes, we see that. because I added a guy. That makes sense because it's just +1 to what I had before. So 7.5 on the offensive side. Let's count defense. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5. So we still have a one-man advantage. You see it? That's why we run option football. That's why we are an option football team, because as an option football team, you don't have to block everyone in order to have a good play. Right now, with the way this is, if everyone executes properly, we have a one-man advantage, which means we should have a good play, again, no matter what the defense does. By the way, we're kicking around the idea of having this guy do this on the backside, kind of like we've been doing in our quick game. So just something to kind of keep in mind for right now on the back burner. But regardless, hopefully you see this. Now, generally what happens is, in this particular situation, we should have an extra good play because now there are really only 5 guys in the box. Here's the box. Ready? From tackle to tackle, basically. See the defense, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys in the box. Because we motioned, we pulled this linebacker out of the box. So we no longer really have to account for blocking him. Now, let me show you how or why this changes, especially if you're the quarterback. This can make it, when it's either with motion or out of trips, a slightly different play. Because now what we're going to get is the S has been taught to block the force player. All right. Now, most likely what's going to happen is the tackle is not going to be able to get this guy. The tackle is taking an inside path to there. We're probably going to get this, and maybe they both get him, or these 5 for these 4 really is what it is, which is nice. We should be able to get all these guys in here. So then what happens is the reality is this guy is going to get blocked, and this guy becomes number 2, which means, we've talked about leverage and throwing the book and everything like that. Basically, if this guy attacks you now, which he most likely is going to, this guy attacks you, that's when you want to throw the book out here and trust that your receivers are going to get blocks. You still have a one-man advantage. Okay? He happens to overrun you, or he happens to run to the book. Well, guess what, quarterback? Now we're taking it and we're keeping it. And again, we should get pretty big yards. One-on-one with the safety. We'll take those odds. Okay? So again, regardless of the defensive structure, regardless of, now again, this is out of against an odd stack. We can look at this from different defenses, but day 1 installation when we're going against our defense, this is what it looks like. So hopefully that gives you a better understanding of what we're trying to do. And again, if I flipped it over and went 37, it would be the same thing to the left. All right, so again, that's some kind of option basics, and that's a good place to get you started in terms of understanding our offense. We can talk about green light and other things some other time. But hopefully that was educational for you. I try to keep these like under 15 minutes because I know our attention level is not the best. So please ask questions. If you need to watch this over and over again to give yourself a better understanding, please do that. Text me with questions. Message me on Huddle with questions. And let's make sure that you have this ironed out. All right? Hope you have a great day, and we'll talk to you later.